Remember, YouTubers, you get to see the behind-the-scenes stuff when everything goes wrong. All right. Okay. And we're back. This week on the first run, Matt Howell and I will discuss it. The Stephen King adaptation, and not the original one, Matt, right? We decided not to go back in time and do a double feature because we just, we value our time and we just care for each other. So we decided not to go put ourselves through that. We're also going to discuss Darren Aronofsky's critically dividing, just public... Matt, there is so much controversy about this film, Mother, and I'm curious to see what you have to say about it. And then finally, we're going to go ahead and cast the It sequel. So as I have fumbled the opening, my name is Chris Scalzo, though I did introduce Matt for him. Congratulations, Matt. I hope you enjoyed that. A connoisseur, raconteur, Matt Howell. So go ahead, Matt. Let's go ahead and hear a clip from It and jump into all this madness.
When you're a kid, you think the universe revolves around you. You think that you'll always be protected and cared for. Then, one day, you realize that's not true. Because when you're alone as a kid, the monsters see you as weaker. You don't even know they're getting closer. Till it's too late. Here, take it.
My grandfather thinks this town is cursed. That all the bad things that happen in this town are because of one thing. An evil thing.
So, Matt, why don't you tell the kids at home or on the road, what is It all about?
Well, it takes place in a small town in Maine called Derry, where strange occurrences seem to happen every 27 years. There's a bunch of disappearances. And essentially, this is the cause of a creature who calls itself Pennywise the Dancing Clown, and it terrorizes the local youth and eats them. And this is about a group of young outcast kids who are the targets of Pennywise, and essentially each of their stories as they face the clown individually and together.
So, Matt, this thing is a big hit, all right? Not adjusted for inflation. This is now the most successful horror film of all time. So let me ask you, did you find this scary?
No, I did not. It wasn't really scary. It had a kind of permeable sense of suspense and dread. Like you kind of feel the kind of, it was creepy at all times. And he definitely sets the mood. And I'm drawing a blank on the director's name. I'm sure you have it at your fingertips to correct me.
Andy Muschietti?
Yes, Muschietti. He was...
Hold on. I've been watching a lot of Food Network Stars, so I got to say it like Giotto would. Muschietti.
Or we could say it like Guy would. Muschietti. So there we go.
I just like how Giotto pronounces spaghetti. She said,
yeah.
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
All right.
Anyway, so Yeah, I mean, he does a really good job about setting tone, setting mood. It definitely has this whole
Hmm.
sense of dread. But as far as
Hmm.
scary, I would say no. I mean, there's not a whole lot in the way of jump scares, which, you know, your mileage may vary on those to begin with. But even with that kind of sense of build, it doesn't ever really release. It just kind of like when the scary stuff happens or the horrible stuff happens, it just kind of like, okay, well, now this is happening, and it goes from there.
Yeah, I agree with you entirely. I don't know if I was thinking about that when I was watching this thing. And it's like, are they just telegraphing the scares too much? Is that it? Am I just too experienced, possibly jaded, that the scares aren't there for me? But you're entirely right that the film that kind of just filled with this suspense and dread. But I never really got that pop, like Jesus, jump in my seat kind of moment throughout the film. So, which here's the thing. I'm hard pressed to say that this film is a failure. It's not. I actually quite enjoyed it, but I think I more enjoyed it for the kind of the focus on just these kids dealing with the trauma in their lives and the coming of age portion of everything. I think this thing actually works better as a suspenseful drama than it does a horror film. So it's I think it's solid, but it's a little too conventional for me, particularly in the horror aspect of everything. So I don't know. It's weird, right? It's supposed to be the fantastic best horror film of the year, but I enjoyed it more for the drama. And let's, like we said, Mujahetti does a great job of kind of ratcheting up the tension, but there's never any gotcha. There's never for me any pop.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, one of the main flaws for the film for me. So, I mean, it looks really good. I think he makes it look kind of like, really kind of surreal and kind of creepy. The kid actors, for the most part, are all really good, which is really hard to pull off with kid actors in general.
Yeah.
But, I think part of the challenge of the story is that, we all know that this book that it's based off of is 1,100 pages. So essentially, even if you're taking the first half, it's 600 pages that they're trying to adapt, and they're trying to fit in all this stuff where it makes it seem very kind of jumbled. Like the story doesn't always flow neatly together. So it'll be like, okay, here we're checking on with Beverly. This is what happens to Beverly when she sees it. Now we're going to switch immediately to Ben in the library, and that's what and it just kind of does all of those things, like kind of like hit the beats one by one, and you get those kind of cool visual scary scenes, unsettling scenes, but from a story perspective it just seems like it's kind of like they're just kind of like, okay, we got to hit all this stuff and we're just kind of throwing it all out there just to kind of so we can set up for something, the second half of the movie, to do what we want to do later.
Yeah.
But I will say, Bill Skarsgård, I really enjoyed Pennywise a lot. I thought he was extremely creepy. I liked all the things, even just the little touches he did where he was like drooling all the time when he was about ready to eat somebody. I thought that was really cool. He's got some of the kind of jerky movement stuff, which is kind of played out a little bit, but I thought he was really, really effective. In fact, I prefer him to Tim Curry, which may be anathema to a lot of horror fans out there.
So yeah, I decided to come into this cold. I haven't read the book, mostly because I can't read, but I haven't seen the original television miniseries. I just didn't. I don't know what it was. I just never saw it when I was a kid, and I don't think it looks to me like it hasn't aged particularly well. You've gone on record as saying it is not good at all.
Yeah.
So, and in fact, you asked me not to take in anything just so I could walk in cold to this thing. I mean, culturally, I know some of the beats of the story, but so I was able to kind of enjoy it fresh, if you will. And I think I agree with you. I think Skarsgård, that whole family, man, Sweet Pete, right? I guess we could just start cloning the Skarsgårds. But did you know, I noticed the eye thing that they did, and I thought that was special effects, but that's not. He actually has some condition with his eye that if he can relax the muscle and it wanders.
Oh, really?
Like it'll shift. Yeah. So that I thought like, well, that's creepy as heck. But he can just do that. So I think, but still, I thought that worked really well. But yeah, no, I agree with you too. Performance-wise, I think they're all universally good, especially Skarsgård as Pennywise. It just didn't hit me. You know, it was a little too conventional. I still I enjoyed it. In fact, I think it's interesting. In Rotten Tomatoes, the genre listing, the first listing is drama, then horror, then mystery and suspense, which I think really just nails exactly what I'm thinking about this.
Right.
So do you think it? I'm still going to give this thing a B. I originally wrote down B plus. Do you think that they'll ramp up maybe the horror for the second one, or are we locked into this more kids dealing with their lives? And by the way, there's this, child-eating clown,
Right?
helping you work through your psychological issues in a way you don't even know.
I'm hoping it'll be a little more coherent, because the second part of the book really, I mean, in the way the book is structured, it's kind of intertwined. A lot of the kid stuff is flashbacks, but I think most of it'll be about the adults. I think maybe it will be a little more cohesive because you've kind of got all that groundwork laid of what happened when they were kids, so you know what that stuff was. Although there will be, I think that Muschietti has said that they're going to have the kids will be back, so there will be existing in flashbacks at some point. But I don't know. I have faith that it'll still, maybe it'll be a little more cohesive, and maybe it'll be a little scarier. Although, adults getting eaten by a giant clown are not really as scary as kids getting eaten by a clown. And I will give this group credit. You don't really see kids getting brutally murdered on screen very often, and they did not pull very many punches in that whole arena. So that's something, I guess.
Yeah, I was shocked by the opening with when we see Georgie's fate. I did not expect that to actually happen. So it does go to some dark place. In fact, I think probably the darkest thing in this film for me was the relationship between what's her name, Beverly, and her father.
Yeah,
that was probably the most horrific thing in this film.
Yeah, that was creepy.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it just needs to deliver. I want more scares. I want, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Muschietti, please go ahead and nail the scares. I want to, I like to bring a spare pair of shorts to the theater for a myriad amount of reasons, but I'd like to actually have to use them. So I'm in. I enjoyed it. Just, let's crank it up a little bit, my friend. So where are you coming down, Matt, on the It's?
I'm going to come down as a B grade as well. I thought it was very well put together. I thought it was a very competent film. I thought it looked great. I thought the acting was good. I think we may have been ruined a little bit just because the early buzz, which always makes us a little nervous, was just so universally over the top that your expectations are so high that there's no way it could have lived up to it. It's a good film, and honestly, it's probably, it's definitely got to be probably one of the top 5 horror films that we've seen, which is not hard to do for the year. But still, it's good. It's good. So, everybody's already seen it anyway, but if you haven't, go out and check it out for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Would love to hear your thoughts as well. Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Matt, coming up on Blu-ray and DVD this upcoming Tuesday, October 4th. David Lowery's A Ghost Story, a film we did just a few weeks ago. Man, they plowed that thing right out, starring Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara, about a gentleman who, well, I probably shouldn't use the term gentleman when discussing Casey Affleck. A guy dies and has trouble letting go, so his ghost haunts this house, hoping that his wife will eventually come back. It's an interesting film. We both enjoyed it. Yeah. Includes audio commentary by Lowery, a deleted scene, and some other featurettes. A film we avoided, Matt, thankfully. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales is being released. You can get it from Target with some exclusive digital content. Best Buy has a steel book. Matt, did you know there's a new Cult of Chucky film? I should say there's a new Chucky film called Cult of. Did you know?
I was
there's a new
vaguely
Chucky
aware
film?
of it, but I don't care enough to actually go out and seek anything out about it. So why don't you tell me about it?
Well, there's a new one. And there's a couple featurettes and there's feature commentary with the director and writer Don Mancini and the head puppeteer Tony Gardner. That's another series that never really grabbed me, Matt. In fact, if I think about it, I'm not sure. I think I've seen one Chucky film from start to finish, and that's the one with Meg Tilly. Is it Meg Tilly? When the female doll, the bride of Chucky, is that it?
Yeah, Bride of Chucky. Yes.
That's the only one I think I've ever seen all the way through. That's another thing that never really grabbed me. Should I see the first one? The first one's the best, right?
I saw the first one when I was super young and didn't know any better. So.
Classic sci-fi horror film The Hidden is being released, Matt. Did you ever see The Hidden? I may have to remind you about this one.
I did not.
There's a power-mad space slug slithering among and through the innocent citizens of L.A. It's up to a hard-boiled cop and a detective from way up north to stop it in this wonderfully straight-faced sci-fi action movie. The Hidden is one of those kind of hidden B horror films. It's, well, mystery thrillers. It's actually really good. So if you get a chance to check it out, The Hidden, you definitely should. This one's for former co-host Chris Esposito, one of his favorite films. I may buy this for him for Christmas, Matt. Shout Select is giving us Home for the Holidays, starring Holly Hunter, Robert Downey Jr., Anne Bancroft, Charles Durning, and Dylan McDermott. On the fourth Thursday in November, 84 million American families will gather together and wonder why. Claudia Larson is heading home for yet another chaotic and exasperating family Thanksgiving, but a new visitor offers some interesting possibilities. If they can duck the flying turkeys, this romance may just have a chance. Directed by Jodie Foster, featuring an audio commentary by said Foster. He's always had a soft spot for these family, holiday dramas, and I believe Home for the Holidays is one of his favorites. Plus, you got RDJ.
Well, that's always bonus.
Synapse is giving us Popcorn. A group of film students plan an all-night horror film festival in order to raise funds for their cinema club. They decided to show a number of horror films from the 50s that rely on gimmicks such as 3D, odorama, and electrical buzzer seats. Unbeknownst to the group, Matt, of course, there's a homicidal maniac stalking the theater. Popcorn is an 80s horror film, if you haven't seen it, Matt, that's not terribly good, but had one of the cooler VHS covers. I don't know if you're familiar. It's a person holding a female's face mask, like on a stick, the paper masks on a stick, and behind it is just a skull. And there's also, I think, a scene where she's holding a bucket of popcorn. It's a new 2K scan of the archival 35mm transpositive, a new 7.1 surround mix. Really? Do we need a 7.1 surround mix of popcorn? I guess for the fans. Audio commentary with the director and some of the stars, a bunch of other stuff. But Matt, for me, the big release this week, I didn't even know this was coming. And I saw it, and I think one tear escaped of joy. So kids, I don't know if you know about this. Back in the day, late 70s, maybe early 80s, if a film was put on television, a lot of times they would do longer versions of the movies to take up more time and add more commercials. One particular movie was a 2-night event. The film went from its 2+ hour running time to almost 3 hours long, Matt. And now this version with the extra 40 minutes of story is being released on Blu-ray with a new HD scan. Are you ready? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do not.
Superman, the movie. It's getting its TV version released on Blu-ray. It's going to come with the Superman director's cut as well, which has some of the scenes already added back in. But this is going to be the full TV version, Matt, which is basically 3 hours long. And I am so excited to pick this up. I don't even remember watching it when I was a kid. I'm sure I did. I'm sure I'll recognize stuff as it plays, but I cannot tell you how excited I am that they're releasing this full TV version of the film on Blu-ray.
Wow. I'm excited as well.
Whatever. You know what? I was gonna offer you too my old Blu-ray of it because it's a 2-pack, and I was going to send you my old one, but maybe I'm not going to do that now.
Well, I deserve that then for being a shithead.
There you go. All right, Matt. Your straight to DVD pick of the week. The film series that just keeps on chugging. How many deep, Matt, do you think we are in the sniper films?
I'm gonna say 4. 4 deep.
How about 7, Matt?
Wow.
So we have Sniper, Sniper 2, Sniper 3, Sniper Reloaded, Sniper Legacy, Sniper Ghost Shooter, and then finally this year's Sniper Ultimate Kill. Agent Kate Estrada, no relation to Eric, and Marine sniper Brandon Beckett are sent to Colombia to kill an assassin and capture a notorious drug lord. Also featuring Tom Berenger himself, and of course, Billy Zane. So the sniper films, we always like to pay a little homage because the first film wasn't terribly good. 10 years later, Matt, they make a straight-to-DVD sequel, and then another one after that, and then 7 to 8 years later, they pick it up again. It's just a series that won't die. So you sniper fans, you got another one, Ultimate Kill, coming out. Matt, what should we be streaming this week?
So I got a recommendation from somebody that I know for a Netflix original called What Happened to Monday. There's Numi Rapace, who plays 7 identical siblings in a kind of dystopian future world where siblings are forbidden. So they are essentially playing the same character or the same person, take turns playing the same person in public while the rest of them hide out. And then one of them disappears, and they are trying to figure out what happened to her while they avoid detection and getting caught. It's a cool little movie. Mm-hmm. Check it out.
Interesting. Yeah, there's a couple things on Netflix I want to see. Like, I want to see that message. I want to see Message from the King, the Chadwick Boseman, revenge thriller. I don't know if you saw the trailer for that. So there's a lot of stuff that they got right now that I need to catch up with. I still haven't seen the last 2 episodes of Preacher, Matt. I am so behind.
Really?
Fine. All right. Let's check that out, Matt. Let's move on then. Oh boy. Okay, Matt. Let's hear a clip from Mother. And I don't even know where all right, let's just Jesus Christ.
We spend all our time here. I want to make a paradise.
She redid all of it, every last detail. And she breathed life back into every room.
Are you happy?
I love you. Please, come in. Hello.
Hello. He's a stranger. We're just going to let him sleep in our house. Hello.
Hello.
Did you know he had a wife? He has pictures of you in his luggage.
What were you doing in their luggage?
What do they want? God help you.
Okay, Matt. So Darren Aronofsky's Mother, starring Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem. I want to throw it to you and say, Matt, tell us, everybody, what's Mother about? But I think that may be almost an impossible task.
That is literally impossible. I was sitting there dreading. I was like, Chris always gives me the really hard ones, and I'm like, so tell what Mother's about, and I was like, oh, that's SOB. I don't.
I'll leave you off the hook for this one. So Jennifer Lawrence stars as a woman, and her relationship with Javier Bardem is being tested because he's having some writer's block, and then some uninvited guests show up to kind of ruin, as it says here on Rotten Tomatoes, their tranquil existence. And that's not what this film's about at all. This is marketed as a thriller horror film, and that's not what this is at all, except that's exactly what it is. This is a gigantic film, Matt. There is so much squeezed into this, so much going on. I'm not even sure how to begin to unpack this thing. So I'm going to tell you one thing. The whole film, Matt, as you know, is an allegory. This is not a literal narrative film from beginning to end. All right?
Shocking.
Sorry?
That is a shock to me, having seen the film, that it is not literal narrative.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I think they've done a really great job of masking what this film's really about. The problem is you may hate it because of that.
Yeah.
I think you're going to go in expecting one thing and get something entirely different. Not as severe as the killing. Well, I should say no, more severe than the "Killing Me Softly" thing. Remember when the Brad Pitt film that they marketed as some big gangster film, and it really wasn't about that so much at all.
But a vastly underrated film, I'd like to point out.
Oh, a fantastic film. So I'm not sure. What did you think about Mother? What are your impressions? Did Aronofsky succeed? Now remember, we're big Aronofsky fans around here.
Yeah.
We both loved Black Swan, The Fighter, The Wrestler, Jackie. Yeah. Well, he's a producer on Jackie. Then I think this falls more under The Fountain when it comes to the people who viewed it and their diverse opinions.
Yep.
Break it down, Matt. Where are you with Mother?
All right. So what we can tell you, I can tell you this. So we have seen, I believe, all of the Aronofsky's directed films. I believe he wrote them all too. So you can kind of divide this into two camps. One with a very distinct, coherent narrative, Requiem for a Dream, The Wrestler, Black Swan, The Fighter. Those are movies that, while obviously they have some kind of strange imagery and stuff, you can at least tell what's going on for the most part. Pie, The Fountain, and then this, I think, are kind of like his indulgences more into kind of his feverish aspect of writing something very kind of obtuse and impenetrable, almost making it like it's I would say visual poetry, but in the sense of poetry written by like an undergrad freshman student who wants to write a bunch of stuff to look deep and to make it intentionally confusing. Yeah, I don't know. I was with you. I was going in expecting this to be some kind of, sinister husband isn't who he says he is kind of thing, going after Jennifer Lawrence type of thriller, and I guess in essence that's what I got. But yeah, just the execution is just completely badass for the entire run of the film, and it's really confusing to figure out exactly what's going on. Now it kind of clicks into place. Okay, yeah, I get it plot-wise towards the end, but I still don't understand what half of that fever imagery stuff that just kind of goes through means. Although I will at the same time say I found it extremely interesting to watch.
Yeah. This is clearly a political statement from Aronofsky. The characters aren't people. They are representations of particular things. If you want a clue, when you go through the credits, look at the character names and look at only one of them is capitalized. The rest are in lowercase, and that is for a very particular reason. I went back and forth on this, and I'm still thinking about it. It's still sitting with me, and I think that alone is a testament to the success of the film, at least for Aronofsky. I think I didn't get the undergrad trying to look deep. That's not the perspective I gained from this film. I felt more that just as an artist making a statement about the current state of the planet. And is it successful entirely? I don't know. I think I'm inclined to say yes, just because of the way the film starts. particularly how he shoots Jennifer Lawrence throughout this entire thing. We are, for the most part, watching this thing through her point of view. And when we're not, Aronofsky frames us up to her very tight, or we're over her shoulder. But we are just, it's also dizzyingly, which I'm not sure is a word, shot. I mean, the composition of this thing, you're uneasy and on, not solid ground or footing throughout this entire thing. And that's intentional. And I really think that that's going to be really difficult for a lot of people. I think most people want to go in and they want to see a narrative. They want a beginning, a middle. We want conflict and we want resolution. And that's not really here. In fact, this film is the antithesis of that in a way, right? So I don't know, man. I don't know. I know I did really enjoy it. I can't tell you that in 6 months I'm going to come back and say, what if that was an absolutely miserable failure? But I feel in the moment at this time, my initial reaction, as soon as the credits started, my reaction was, all right, wow, okay.
Yeah.
So, but the more time I've had away from it, the more I've appreciated it. There are some fantastic visuals in this thing, and it does go absolutely off the rails for the last act of this film. But I think I guess that might be part of the problems that maybe even you're having with it, right? Because it does kind of, it's off-putting, but it does have a narrative flow for the first 2/3 of the film, right? But when everything goes absolutely ape-ass crazy, I think he's going to lose a lot of people.
Yeah, it becomes very unstructured, and it becomes difficult to follow what's going on. It's a bunch of kind of shocking images, one after the other, and it kind of descends further and further into horror and madness kind of thing. And I think this is one of those things. My prediction is that if you asked us again a year from now, I think you and I will have a much greater appreciation for the film, because we probably will have seen it more than once. There'll be a lot of talking about it, and it's something that we'll be able to digest. And I think it's going to be a divisive film of his, but it's going to be a film that people are going to talk about and are going to remember. I think it's more than so than like The Fountain, for sure.
Right. For sure.
I think it's something that people are gonna say, you want to watch Aronofsky. Well, here's his really weird ass film, and this is gonna be the film that people are gonna say, okay, if you're ready to really just kind of be blown, your mind messed with while you watch this, this is the one to do it. And I think there's value in that. And I'm not saying I didn't like it, but I think where the failure comes into, if there is a failure, is that if you're gonna sit through this thing one time, it's not a one-time kind of movie to where you can really parse through everything that was there, because you kind of got to start. You're going to have to go back. I don't want to see it again just to go back from the beginning to understand how it ends and look at how he builds everything through it. Because, again, for maybe the first 15 minutes, I'm expecting a normal kind of thriller kind of thing, and then you kind of get those hints that, it's not that way. And then it's like, okay, I probably missed stuff that I should have been paying attention to. I've been paying attention to the wrong things.
Well, I think too, I think the very beginning of the film, I think sets the stage for the chaos that's going to come. Sure. But you're right, though. You do get kind of lulled into a traditional narrative as the film progresses. But then, as we said, in that third act, things go absolutely crazy. I think we do a lot of promotion of the unusual, or not unusual, but different smaller films. I think this tests that theory for people. I'm concerned, like we say, like, you don't want Avengers 3. You want to have a Killing Them Softly, right? You want to have these types of films, so you need to go out and support them. I'm terrified to recommend this film to people, because then they'll say, that may not appreciate it or get what Aronofsky's doing. But then, you know what? I think the two people that do listen to the show, we do have a more sophisticated audience. Yeah. So they would be able to appreciate what Aronofsky's doing here. I know I did. I do, like you said, I do want to see it again. I will be purchasing this because I just need to relive this experience again, and then just kind of soak in the imagery and the color and I don't know. I really I enjoyed it, Matt. But what do you think about this as being the ultimate test case of supporting smaller, unusual, or artistic film?
I would say it's something that we would support. But I think you're cutting us a little short here, Chris, because I think, we seem to have three types of movies in this. We have the big movies that everybody's seen, like we just talked about it. We've talked about all the superhero films all summer long. We gushed about the ones we liked. We told them which ones we thought were mediocre. And then there are the smaller films, but that are still narratively structured well, like A Killing Me Softly. Yes, it may not be what you think it is, but it's still a good film that people can follow, or A Drive, or A Nice Guys from last year. Those are.
I'm not allowed to talk about Drive anymore, so I appreciate you bringing it up.
But I am talking about it. So. But those are standard films. I mean, granted, they weren't films that you thought when you saw the previews, you weren't sure necessarily what you're going to get. But when you saw them, at least it was a coherent thing, and it was a good film, and I think a lot of people could appreciate them. This film falls into something like, I don't know, The Neon Demon or the Enter the Void, stuff that we've talked about like that, where it's really kind of pushing the envelope kind of stuff, where we've always said, see it, but only if you're of a certain bent kind of thing. If you're not into weird, if you're not into being challenged and not having stuff being explained to you, this is not for you. But this is definitely not a film for everybody, and I wouldn't say everybody should go out and see this thing. But if you're intrigued by what we're saying, definitely go out and check it out.
Yeah, I think, what, that's entirely right, Matt. That's a great assessment. Thank you for correcting me, as always.
I do what I can.
So, any other thoughts on Mother? There's so much I want to say, but I want to avoid spoilers. So,
yeah, how about this? I'm gonna say I don't even know what grade to give this. This is like a defy as a grade for me. So I'm just gonna give it a B, because I did enjoy it, although I'm not sure what the hell happened in it completely, because I need to see it again. But I'm gonna give it a B just for our artistic merits. But I say that at some point in the next 6 months, we try and check it out again after it comes out on DVD or Netflix or something, and maybe we really get into talking about it. Okay. And maybe we can do stuff like that with like the Neon Demon. Maybe we could do a little mini marathon of stuff that we really didn't get into, of just our weirdest films of 2017.
That's a great idea. Yeah, I'm actually still going to go with an A. I still really enjoyed it. And I am curious to see where we fall if we do revisit all of these later on down the road, or maybe early next year. So, fantastic. If you had a chance to see Mother, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Matt, let's take one more break, and let's go ahead and let's just cast the It sequel, shall we?
Hiya, Georgie. What a nice pony. Do you want it back?
Yes, please.
You look like a nice boy. Do you want a balloon too, Georgie?
I'm not supposed to take stuff from strangers.
Oh, well, I'm Pennywise the dancing clown. Now we aren't strangers, are we?
I should get going now.
Oh. Without your bow? Here. Take it.
All right, Matt. So I'm going to go ahead and clarify a few things. First off, we're just going to recast the main cast. All right, I'm not going to go through casting some of the other minor characters. I think that, we don't want to spend the next 3 hours recasting the entire film, right? Are we agreed?
Agreed.
Okay, good. So let's go ahead and start everything off. I think we start off with Beverly Marsh. I thought I was getting too lazy initially with my casting. Initially, I had Amy Adams, but I thought, here's a problem. I went through the three big redheads, right? So you have Amy Adams, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Jessica Chastain.
Yeah.
And I settled on Bryce Dallas Howard.
Okay.
Where do you come down?
I went with Jessica Chastain. I think she has a little bit more of the kind of gravitas acting chops. Not that Amy Adams doesn't. Bryce Dallas Howard, I'm kind of on the fence of, but I think I'm going with Jessica Chastain on this one.
I agree with you, but I think Bryce Dallas Howard aesthetically looks more like the actress from the film. So that's why I ended up settling on her.
Okay.
Fair enough. Who do you want to go with next?
How about we go with my personal favorite, Richie Tozier, played by Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm. What do you got?
I think I'm going to go with, he's obviously got to be a comedic actor. I kind of went through the usual list of folks. So I came down with either Bill Hader,
interesting,
or Jorma Tacone from The Lonely Island.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I have one out of field pick too that I think, I don't know, but interesting. I ended up settling on Mark Duplass.
Okay.
I think Duplass can handle comedy, but drama and stuff really well. Mark Duplass, of course, from The League and a bunch of other stuff, but I think he's maybe mostly known in the general public from The League. But him and his brother started the Mumblecore movement, and they also did. Duplass starred in a film we did for the show Creep, and the sequel trailer, Matt, is out now. We'll have to catch up with that.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah. But yeah, so I chose Duplass for Richie. All right, what should we do next? Let's see. I'm gonna go. Let's go to Mike Hanlon. All right.
Okay.
Mike Hanlon. I was being lazy and initially had Chadwick Boseman, but I'm assuming Chadwick Boseman has to play some other historical African American character because he seems to be doing all of them. So I think online I noticed too the general consensus is Jordan Peele.
Okay. That could be good. Yeah, that could be good. That could be interesting.
I actually went with Ray Fisher.
Okay.
Ray Fisher, who of course will stars in the upcoming critically acclaimed box office sensation Justice League. He plays Cyborg. So I went with Mr. Fisher as Mike.
I'm gonna go with, and this is a cop out because I always go with this young gentleman, just because, he's one of my favorites, and I think he is funny. But he can pull off some drama as well. I'm gonna go with Donald Glover. I think he would be a pretty good Mike Hanlon because if you've seen him in some of his Atlanta stuff, I think he can kind of pull off that kind of jaded, worn down guy pretty well. But he's also got some funny chops too, which they could slip in there sometimes.
That's another show I haven't seen yet is Atlanta. I'm so disappointed in myself because I'm such a Glover fan. I'm so behind. All right, who should we do next?
Let's do Ben Hanscom.
All right, here's my off the wall pick. Well, actually, Matt, who do you have? But this is the one I chose, my unusual pick. So go ahead. Who'd you choose?
I went straight up Dreamboat Heartthrob because that's what Ben Hanscom's supposed to turn into in the books. I went with Chris Pratt.
Oh, and here's the thing. I did not know that. So my pick now makes absolutely no sense. No offense to this actor. So I guess I'll have to default to your Chris Pratt then, because I went with Bobby Moynihan.
Okay, that would be awesome. But yeah, that's not in the books. He grows up to be a quite successful dude.
Damn it! See, here's where my ignorance kills me. All right,
Yeah,
that's too bad. 'Cause I thought he'd be able to bring some humor to the role, and I don't know. I like Bobby Moynihan. So, and my wife can't stand him on SNL, though he's since left. But
Yeah.
we go back and forth, and she has this fun little thing where she does when the credits of SNL start, she will inform me who is funny and who is not funny. And Bobby Moynihan falls under the not funny, which kills me because I think he's great.
Have you seen his new sitcom?
I haven't seen it yet. No, is it any good? Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it yet either. I was just kind of curious if you had, as a fan.
Yeah, I want to check it out. He plays one of my all-time favorite comedy Bang Bang characters too, Fievel. If you haven't heard any of the Fievel appearances, Google those. You will rather enjoy them. All right, who's up next? Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Awesome. I guess we'll go with Stanley Uris.
Okay.
Here's the layup of all layups. Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen for Stanley Uris. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that is a good one. But you know who I would go with? I'm gonna go with JGL.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
I think he can pull off that
Jiggle?
kind of neurotic, skinny type of dude going on.
Fair
Kind of
enough.
looks like the kid too.
All right. Yeah, I guess so. Still, I think that's the wrong pick. All right, who do you want to go with left? We have two left. We have who? We have Eddie Jasperek and Bill Denbrough.
Okay. I guess Bill. Let's go with Bill Denbrough. Okay, so this is obviously the lead star. So all right. I struggled with this one because you need to bring in some serious star power and gravitas on this one. So
Which is not what I did, but go ahead.
not what you did at all. Okay. What about Christian Bale? He would never
Ooh.
do it in a million years, but I think he would be fun as Bill Denbrough.
Okay, that's interesting. That's a good pick. So that's a good. Yeah, that's good. I went with The Rock. No, I'm kidding. Though I think The Rock would be great. I actually went with Colin Hanks.
Oh, that's a good one. All right, yeah, I could see that.
You're welcome. All right, that leaves Eddie Jasper.
I could see Tom Hanks. Hanks' son playing Eddie Kaspbrak.
Yeah, no, there you go. Well, that's not bad. For Eddie Jasperak, excuse me, I went with Adam Scott.
Okay.
What about you?
Honestly,
Would you lean forward, please? We can't really hear that well.
Yeah,
Much better.
I don't know. I hate to say it. I forgot that Eddie Kaspbrak was in this. I did not pick somebody for him, so we'll go with
Adam Scott.
We'll go with Colin Hanks.
Are you going to do Colin? You're going to do Colin Hanks?
Yeah.
Fine. You're biting on my guy. Wow, this was not half as exciting or interesting as I thought it would be.
Well, it's because we didn't argue at all.
I know.
We're all like,
everything kind of made sense.
That works.
Yeah, that'll work. Well, except for The Rock as Bill Denbrough.
That would be. Yeah, I guess we could have gone just completely off the wall. I mean, we could have had Karen Gillan for Beverly Marsh. She's a redhead.
There you go.
We could have had or no, we could have done like something like Charlize Theron in a red wig for Beverly Marsh.
Honey Boo Boo.
We could have done we could have done like Keanu, but like John Wick Keanu as Bill Denbrough. Be completely emotionless throughout the whole thing.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah, next week let's just recast it with action stars.
Recast it with action stars. Well, we've already got Chris Pratt in here, so we'll leave him where he is.
All right, that's fine. I just have to figure out where we're going to put The Rock in then. All right. Well, shoot us an email at the first run. Feedback at the first run. What are your casting choices for the It sequel? I may put in the show notes to skip to this whole part entirely. Next week, Matt. Let's see.
Terry Crews. Terry Crews is my candidate.
I would watch that.
This would be like the It version of the Expendables. Is really what we should have cast.
All right, so then Statham is clearly going to be Richie Tozier.
Yeah, exactly. Is he funny enough?
I don't know. I think so. So, okay. So next week, Matt, we got Kingsman: The Golden Circle.
Right.
And then I may go see Battle of the Sexes with the Misses. American Made is out now, but we're a week out, Matt, of
we're behind.
2048 sequel to Blade Runner.
Yeah.
And a joke that never gets old.
Never gets old. Ever.
So we can lock in Kingsman: The Golden Circle for next week. Maybe we'll do some other surprises. Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Scroll. You will eventually find us. We are everywhere. In fact, I'm right behind you. That's going to be the big show for this week, Matt. So let's take an extended break, and we'll see you all soon.
Bad vibrations?